In the astonished gaze of the woman, the man spun his body 2.5 times and forcefully hurled the metal in his hand. In an instant, the bulletproof glass on the 33rd floor shattered with a crash. After confirming that the falling glass shards were safe, Nick walked to the window, looking down at the toxic gas spreading below, while surveying the surrounding layout. The woman behind him seemed to understand his intention, and hurriedly urged him not to do anything foolish. But in the next moment, Nick tied the rope around his waist. It was their only way to escape. A few hours earlier, a truck filled with toxic gas had stopped in the city center, and the deadly gas quickly began to gush out, covering every surrounding corner. People on the street were still taking photos and uploading them to social media, and by the time they realized something was wrong, the streets were already in chaos. Nick and his family were trapped inside the building and could only climb up the stairs. A group of people finally reached the rooftop door, only to find it locked. Nick approached a glass panel, deciding to climb out onto the rooftop through the window. In the stunned gaze of everyone, he leaped out. Because the railing was too smooth, he almost slipped and fell, but fortunately, he grabbed the ledge below in time and narrowly avoided disaster. His parents were gripped with fear by the sudden terrifying scene, afraid that something might happen to their son. Once Nick steadied himself, he gathered his composure and climbed up with all his strength. Only then did his family breathe a sigh of relief. He wrapped the chalk in a cloth, then slammed it onto the ground with a few strong kicks, before tying it around his waist, securing the safety buckle, and picking up the stick on the ground, he shouted loudly and ran toward the higher floors. The harrowing scene almost made his mother faint, and Nick himself felt a wave of fear afterwards. But with the toxic gas rising below, he could not turn back. He climbed up along the wall with great difficulty, taking each step with utmost caution, knowing that even a slight mistake could be fatal. His family downstairs started a live video stream on their phones, watching his every move with tense anticipation. Relying on the strength he had built from training, Nick successfully reached the other side of the window and looked at the smooth wall above, wiping some chalk dust from his hands, then tightly grasped the crevice on the stone carving and continued climbing slowly and steadily. At 30, feeling like he had achieved nothing, it seemed all his energy had been building up for this moment. There was no one cheering him on, yet he was climbing with his life on the line. Suddenly, Nick stopped. The rope tied around his waist had become a hindrance. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't extend it any further. At this point, the only choice before Nick was to untie the safety rope from his body. If he went back the way he came, not only would all his effort be wasted, and when the toxic gas reached that floor, there would be only one possible outcome for anyone. So Nick decided to take a gamble. Without any safety measures, he successfully reached the rooftop. The intense exhaustion made Nick gasp for breath, and once he recovered slightly, he hurried to open the rooftop door. Seeing his family safe and unharmed, and the caring gaze of his girlfriend, Nick felt that everything had been worth it. Next, the woman instructed everyone to take out their phones, sending an SOS signal into the sky, while she ran to control the circuit breaker and adjust the lights. By chance, a plane flew by, and the rescuers lowered the survival equipment, and the family was finally rescued. Nick's heart was still pounding, but an unprecedented sense of relief washed over him. The fear and the tension of giving everything he had just now made him cherish his family and life even more.